What is going on, everybody, and welcome to bootcamp day number 10. Today we're going to be going over how to come up with a daily trading plan. But real quick, as always, before we hop into this, make sure you guys are doing your daily check-in. Comment down below that you're still rocking with me and that you are dedicated to make it the entire way through this bootcamp. While you're at it, also make sure to click that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. But let's hop right into it. Now, before we hop into this, if you have not already, I highly suggest that you guys go back and you guys watch these previous bootcamp day videos, because all of this is going to lead up to where we currently are and where we're going to be going in the future. So as soon as you're done with this video, make sure you guys head on over to my channel and make sure you watch some of these as well. Anyway, so how do I come up with my daily trading plan? I do go live here on this YouTube channel every single morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time and come up with this plan completely free for you guys and give you guys my exact game plan for the day. I want to talk about how I go about coming up with my daily trading plan. So the very first thing that I do is, first off, I only have a 21 EMA in the TTM squeeze when I am doing my analysis. The very first thing that I want to do is I want to start with analysis on SPY and QQQ. Reason being, these are the two most important ETFs or names that we need to have on watch. If tech is going to be weak, then we're going to see it in QQQ. So stocks like Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Google, so on and so forth, we can typically get a gauge on which way they are going to go based off of what is happening with QQQ. Now, we do have relative strength and relative weakness when it comes to individuals, but I always want to start by looking at SPY and QQQ. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going through multiple different time frames, which we will have a class on multiple time frame analysis, but I'm looking at the daily time frame, the 4-hour time frame, and the 1-hour time frame. The main thing I am looking for when I'm doing my analysis is, again, just our levels of interest, support and resistance, Fibonacci, or supply and demand. Supply and demand is going to be more so on the futures. When I'm looking at QQQ and SPY, I'm going to be using a lot of support and resistance and Fibonacci retracement. So as you guys saw, QQQ bounced off the 50% retracement from this pivot low over here to this pivot high right here. 2 days in a row, we have bounced off of that 50% retracement. Told everybody yesterday and earlier in the week that I was watching this 367.59 level for a potential bounce. Now, if QQQ were to lose this level, because a lot of tech stocks are going to move with QQQ, we could assume that tech is going to continue to be weak until QQQ gets down towards this 61.8% retracement, which is also going to be an important level. So if QQQ were to trade down here, this would be a bounce area that would be on watch. So again, I'm going through, I'm doing all of my analysis on SPY and QQQ, finding areas of resistance, areas of support. So this was a previous support turn resistance point at this 375 to 375.19 level. So once I'm done with QQQ, same thing, I head on over to SPY, do all of my analysis there. And then once I am done with SPY and QQQ, as you can see, we have a really strong resistance point right here at this 444.12. So if SPY were to get down towards this area, that would be my bounce area for the day. Now, what I do from there is I type it up. Where am I watching bounces? Where am I watching rejects? That way, I already have it planned on what I am going to be looking for the day. So you can see today, SPY bounce at 445 to 445.3, rejects 452.25 and 454. Also marked 44.70 on ES, which we actually fell just 3 points short on ES from that level. So you can see the low today on ES was down at this 44.73, so really close to the bounce level. So I'll type it like this, and I'll type out where exactly I'm looking for entries, either for bounces or for rejects. Now, once I'm done going through SPY and QQQ, the next thing I do is my analysis on ES. The reason we want to do analysis on ES and NQ, because SPY and QQQ only trade from 9:30 to 4. So the chart setup can be slightly different. Most of the time, the levels are going to be the same, but there's also plenty of times where they're different. So I also want to do analysis on ES as well as NQ. Reason being, ES actually never hit that 61.8, but SPY actually hit that 61.8. So you can see how there's a little bit of a difference there. So that's why I want to do analysis on both. But then also at the same time on the futures, that's where I do my supply and demand. So if we go to the, I believe, 1-hour time frame, yeah, there's still a supply zone that I'm watching on ES way up here. Now, if you want to do your supply and demand on SPY and QQQ, you can. I just prefer not to. I prefer to do it on the futures. But do yourself a favor. If you do trade SPY and QQQ, definitely do your analysis as well on ES and NQ, because sometimes there's going to be a specific setup on ES and NQ that you're not going to see on SPY and QQQ. and it could cause you to miss out on the trade. There's been plenty of times where I took a trade based off the technicals on ES and NQ, but I just traded SPY and QQQ options. So again, do yourself a favor, do your analysis on both of them. Once I am done with my SPY and QQQ, ES and NQ, I then have a basket of stocks that I flip through every single day. You want to keep this basket very basic with just highly liquid stocks. Now, stocks are going to come and go off of this list, but typically you want to stick to the most basic names. Again, SPY, QQQ, Apple, Amazon, AMD, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Tesla, and you can add a few different ones in there. So if you want to look at my current watch list, I definitely got to narrow this one down because I don't trade UPST anymore. AI is kind of dead. Roku don't really trade that anymore. Snow don't really trade. Shopify don't really trade. So if you want to pick and choose some of these off the list, you can feel free to do so. But this is just what I have on the list right now and is what I flip through. So now from there, what I do is I go to a 1 hour time frame. And when I'm flipping through these stocks, I will flip through multiple different time frames just to see if there's any different time frame setups. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Apple. I'll look at Apple and I know that Apple is actually bouncing off the 100-day SMA, which it hasn't tested in a really long time. So if I just go ahead and type in simple moving average, add this, and then we'll just make it a 100-day SMA. We'll keep it that light blue. We can see the last time Apple tested this level was way over here. February 1st was the last time that it touched it. What has it bounced off of these last 3 days? Pretty much that 100-day SMA. It bounced right off of it yesterday. So I could conclude, okay, I am not bearish on Apple and ideally shouldn't be looking for puts on Apple until it breaks below that 177 or wherever that 100-day SMA ends up being. So I could look at that and be like, okay, maybe Apple is something that I can keep on watch. Let's put it on the watch list for the time being. Then I'll flip on over, again, go to the 1 hour time frame, but I'll look through multiple time frames, 1 hour, 4 hour daily. We can go on over to Airbnb. I could look at Airbnb and be like, you know, this thing looks like crap. All I'll do is I'll skip right over it. Let's look at AMD. Okay, AMD had a bear flag this morning, and this actually went on the watch list as something to watch if the market got weak early in the morning. As we can see, AMD just pushed to the upside. Therefore, there was no reason to get short. So I didn't end up taking this trade. But being able to recognize the weakness and say, okay, if the market were to get weak, this is something I could rotate to. So if we pull on over the watch list today, you can see right here, AMD, if the market is weak, I am interested in puts below the 1 hour bear flag. And I would be interested in a bounce down at 107.2. Why would I be interested in a bounce down there? If we go to the daily time frame, look at 107.2. It's been very strong support. So again, using multiple time frame analysis, I can start looking at this and I can start coming up with a game plan for the day. So I liked AMD today. I also liked Amazon. Amazon was on the list, and this is actually a trade that I did end up taking today. Contracts didn't move too amazing. Honestly, I thought they would move better, but I was able to get an early entry before price broke out of this flag and was able to catch a nice move to the upside. Ideally would have liked to see more out of it. It pulled back and it hit my stop loss in profit. So the reason I liked it, this 1 hour flag right here, look at this trend line. Unfortunately, wasn't able to hold, but had it held and had the market continued to have strength, Amazon would have definitely been the one to go. So I like that. That's why I was on the watch list today, and that's why I traded it. So that's pretty much what I'm doing when I'm going through this watch list, is I'm just flipping through stocks. I'm looking for individual setups, like you can see on Caterpillar. I told everybody I was really interested in a bounce at 274.18. Unfortunately, it just bounced a little short at 274.75. That's okay. If it doesn't hit my level, I won't take the trade. But what I'm looking for is clear trend. Are there any clear fibs that I can start using? Is there chart patterns? Is there previous support or resistance, etc.? So something I'm watching on Coin right now is this weekly flag that is developing. We're going to have to see how Coin closes tomorrow, but this might actually be a trade that comes into play next week and could potentially be a swing trade as well. So Coin could be something on watch. If we head on over, Costco don't really care about. Google is just in consolidation, so don't really care about that. IWM, I told everybody today to watch this bounce at 189.75. It looks like it got very, very close to that level. The way that I found it was on a 4 hour time frame. As we can see, low is low, high is high. Price comes back, pretty much hits that 50% retracement. So if I was here, I knew that I would be watching 189.75. And as price comes down to the level, all we're going to do is watch smaller time frames and try to identify an entry. So IWM could have went on the list today. Meta, don't really care about, didn't see anything I like there. Microsoft, still watching that flag there. Again, that's something that could come into play. Netflix, don't really trade. Nvidia, don't really care about. We looked at QQQ, Shopify, I don't really care about. I guess Tesla, nothing's really going on Tesla. So once you flip through that entire list that we just talked about, actually Tesla, this could come into play if it broke below 240.85. So if Tesla broke below 240.85, I could be looking for a gap fill down into 235.23. So that might come into play tomorrow based off of the PPI. If it starts breaking below there, Tesla's more than likely going to go on the list tomorrow, and I'm going to be looking for puts. So by the time you flip through that entire watch list, you're probably going to find 3, 4, 5 setups that you like. And then from there, what I like to do is narrow it down to my top 3 to 4 stocks. So actually 2 of them being SPY and QQQ. These are always on my watch list, but then I'll narrow it down to my top 2 stocks for the day. That way I'm only watching 4 things: SPY, QQQ, and the futures. So I guess a couple more. And then AMD and Amazon were on my watch list today. So that is how I come up with my daily game plan. I get all of my levels. I mark out exactly where I'm looking for bounces or rejects and exactly what I am looking for the day. Now, what you want to do is stick to that plan. As soon as you start breaking your plan and making unplanned trades, you're going to start feeling uncomfortable in the trade, and you're more than likely going to end up losing money. But that is going to wrap up bootcamp day number 10, how to come up with your daily trading plan. If you guys did find value in this video, as always, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. Everybody have an amazing rest of your day, and make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, for another bootcamp video. As always, I greatly appreciate everybody. Everybody have an amazing rest of your evening, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.